Speaking of people that are very upset, I wanted to talk about Kneecap. As you guys know, I went and I live streamed the Kneecap Coachella performance. And in that performance, they obviously had a bunch of slides. One of which said, Israel, free Palestine. And everyone has now that it went viral on Twitter, all of the pro-Israel accounts have been freaking out over this in what I suspect is the funniest way to get mad about anything. While Israel is straight up massacring Palestinians every day, doing a genocide, continuing to do their genocide with unlimited support from the United States of America, these guys are now very, very mad. Stop Anti-Semitism is like, contact Golden Voice. It's too late. They already live streamed it on my live stream, you know? I can't believe it. I can't believe that they said free Palestine and Israel. How dare they? But the reason why I think it's like, the reason why I think it's like kind of funny, and I know they don't give a shit about this at all, and they welcome this kind of retaliation, not dissimilar to myself. People bringing up the Nova Festival. Yeah, you can't even say Israel anymore, okay? You can't say Israel anymore, but you certainly can't say Israel in a festival setting. Why can't you say Israel in a festival setting? Because October 7 happened and Nova Festival happened. So, in my opinion, it's one of the funniest ways to be like, how dare you criticize Israel in a festival setting when October 7 happened? That's insane. That is an insane way to frame this conversation and to try to personally victimize yourself. Here's Elon Levy, of course. This was my favorite one. Israel at a music festival after the Nova massacre is like America at a World Trade Conference after 9/11. First of all, who would ever do such a thing? Who would ever say such a thing? I mean, that's crazy. You forgot the rest. Israel, free Palestine. The Disturbed lead singer's post on Instagram. I didn't know. What is this? Fixed it for you at Kneecap, at HasanAbi Piker, at Coachella. Come on, free Palestine is a human rights scam being fed to you by radical Islamists who openly call for the death of all Jews and non-Muslims. I doubt you'd be applauding like sheep if this were the Noah Music Festival and you were slaughtered like sheep. Oh, I love this guy. He is so fucking insane. Soy right with leftist meme lengths. I know they're even memeing like leftists now. I like the idea that like the festival settings are now eliminated. Okay, no more saying mean things about Israel in a festival setting. Okay, because October 7 happened. Like that's you can't do that. You just simply can't do that. You're not allowed to say Israel at any setting. As a matter of fact, okay, I'll have you know, October 7 happened. You are not allowed to say Israel. What are you talking about? You are not allowed to say that Israel is doing a genocide because October 7 happened. It's just like, dog, Israel has done multiple October 7s every week. Okay, shut the fuck up. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gives a fuck about this kind of crying. I think, especially at this stage, America killed 1 million people right after 9/11, and none of them had anything to do with it. Anyway, they're big mad about this, and I always love when the Hasbro accounts get their notes from something, and I don't know if there's like a Telegram channel or something, but like they literally will all post the exact same shit at the exact same time and will start crying about it at the same exact time. And half the time it's something that just like most people agree with that they're posting and freaking out over, which I always find to be really funny. I always find that really funny because everyone else looks at these guys like hysterically freaking out over someone saying Israel and free Palestine. You just kind of look like a loser. You look like a sweaty ass loser. Useless maggots. I'll be working to make sure that you are banned from the USA. You useless bleep. If I see you first, you'll get a ball peen hammer in the head for supporting Islam. Hello, Nazis. May you die in hell. Anti-Semitic scum. Your anti-Semitism will have consequences, dire ones. Mark my words. This is not a threat. It's a promise. Your career is all but over. Palestine. I'd love nothing more for you all to die in a house fire. Palestine, you Nazi cunts. What the fuck is this? These are the lads getting attacked mercilessly. These are the lads getting attacked mercilessly for saying correct things like Israel and free Palestine. I will say, after an entire year and a half of just like exhaustive live streamed child murder, unlimited child murder, I don't think anybody gives a fuck about this. Like, you can cry about it all day, every day. I mean, keep crying, but your tears mean nothing because we see you cheering for unlimited child murder. So, boo-hoo. Go take it up with the government that you choose to defend. They're supposed to come back to the U.S. for a tour in the fall. Think they're going to get denied entry for shit like this? There's a high likelihood, for sure. On the positive side, the church my parents attend acknowledged the genocide in Palestine during Easter service. Things are different now. Exactly. Toothpaste out of the tube, man. Cat's out of the box. You can't do shit. You can just cry all day. And as I've said, as I've warned over and over again, the more these guys lose their grip, the more people who want to be pro-Israel on the timeline lose control over the conversation, the more people are aware of the depraved ways in which they are defending Israel's genocide, the more aggressive they will get. But it's over. Oh, Fatlo had a statement about Kneecap. Oh, is Fatlo? Oh no, what the hell?
I just want to say this about the Coachella situation.
Am I lying when I say that's what she sounds like? They're calling me Eve Shatlow on the timeline. Racism. We need to... I can't deal with the racism. Eve Shatlow. Oh, the classic Middle Eastern accent, famously known in the Levant. You will recognize this as a classic Menoresian accent.
You know, I personally feel like I have been screaming fire inside a burning building for the last 6 years. I'm not going to sit here and ask today why, when I was publicly shamed and very publicly vilified for being a proud Jew and a Zionist 6 years ago, and very publicly...
I'm the fucking victim here. I am. Why can I not say that I am the victim? Fatlo, me. I can't deal with it. A proud Jew and more importantly, a proud Zionist. Look at my regional accent.
Blacklisted, very publicly chased on social media. My hate name trended at number 2.
My hate name. She's talking about you, Fartlow. Dude, she said my hate name. She's talking about E. Fartlow. She calls it her hate name.
On the day I was cancelled from my profession after 15 years at the apex of music and film journalism as a very popular music and film journalist. I'm not going to ask today why nobody came out in defense of me, why nobody in a position of leadership and power said that this was wrong.
Yeah. Calling me E. Fatlo is a reminder. It's just like a pogrom. Why the hell is this allowed? Why can't I go out and get every person fired for calling me E. Fatlo? It's night of the long knives, you say? Yeah, I remember when Seth Rogen, my latest fit, tablet mag, a social media pogrom. And then Seth Rogen replied with fart emoji. Oh, that was awesome. And then Dov Hicken, Seth, how pathetic are you? How desperate are you to be liked by Jew haters that you're trolling a Jew on their behalf? How shall I say this in words you'll comprehend? You're a shanda, but you can come pick on me if it'll keep your creepiness away from Jewish women. Seth Rogen is pro-Palestine? Yeah, you guys didn't know? Seth Rogen has like so many statements about how creepy the pro-Israel crowd is in general. Of course, the free speech advocate gave a platform to the anti-Semites, Kneecap, who've also been accused of sexual assault prior to their fame. How fitting. Immediately also hitting the sexual assault button. Is Seth Rogen a HasanAbi head? No. I can't reply with the fart emoji to her because unfortunately she blocked me a very long time ago. Stereo Gum wrote about this. This is sick. Hassan Piker helps Kneecap livestream Palestine amid message amid Coachella censorship. Kneecap have been vocal about their support for Palestine during the ongoing Israeli genocide to the point that they faced censorship several times. This included last Friday at Coachella when their Free Palestine Jumbotron message and chants were omitted from American live streams. Last night, April 18th, the Northern Irish rap trio, Irish from the north of Ireland, not Northern Ireland, leftist social media personality Hassan Piker was advocating for Palestine during the second performance of the festival. After offering his help on X last weekend, Piker joined the group on stage for weekend 2 and live streamed the set via his Twitch channel. The screen behind the group read, Israel's committing a genocide against the Palestinian people. It is being enabled by the U.S. government who arm and fund Israel despite their war crimes. Israel, free Palestine. DJ Prove helped up a Palestinian flag. Watch Piker's live stream here and see the footage below. For those of you who are wondering about Seth Rogen, yeah, here, this is an old article from 2020. Seth Rogen, I was fed a huge amount of lies about Israel. Actor says when he was younger, he wasn't told Palestinians lived on land that became the Jewish state. Yeah, oh, this was on Mark Maron's podcast, actually. As a Jewish person, I was fed a huge amount of lies about Israel my entire life, Rogen told the comedian and actor Mark Maron in an episode of the WTF podcast. They never tell you that, oh, by the way, there were people there. They make it seem like it was just sitting there, like fucking doors open. More than 700,000 Palestinians were driven out of their homes or fled in the fighting in the 1947-49 war, which also is the Nakba, known as the Nakba. It's not just the 1947-1949 war, but instead it is quite literally just ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, 700,000 of them from their ancestral lands, never to be allowed to return. Rogen and Maron, who is also Jewish, were speaking to promote Rogen's new comedy, An American Pickle, which tells the story of a Jewish immigrant from the 1920s who falls into a vat of brine and wakes up in modern-day Brooklyn. The pair talked and joked at length about Israel and also spoke about anti-Semitism, which Rogen said remains pervasive and prevalent. I remember my dad frankly telling me, people hate Jews, just be aware of that. They just do. And it's honestly something that I'm so glad was instilled in me in a young age, because if it wasn't, I would constantly be shocked at how much motherfuckers hate Jews. Zionists have pointed at the Holocaust for centuries of bloody anti-Semitism as evidence that the Jews will never be safe without a state. Rogen, however, argued, you don't keep something you're trying to preserve all in one place. Asked if he would ever go live in Israel, Rogen said no. Maron replied, I'm the same way, and we're going to piss off a bunch of Jews. Let's get back to EFAT, Lona.
Then creeping anti-Semitism in progressive and social justice movements. I'm asking you to recognize how it went from that to very shortly, in a few years later, having a band be accepted to play at Coachella, and by the way, this summer, all over Europe at main festivals, mainstream festivals, including...
It's time to stop. Kneecap, it's time to stop. Why is it that there's just only one method? If someone is pro-Israel, they got one move, okay? Expert move. Call the manager, get this person fired. It is so crazy. Deplatform. Fire this f***er. She has a Glasgow uni accent. They always think they're right.
To stop being selfish. To stop being afraid to use your position of power to say absolutely not. I will not accept promotion of messages that endorse terrorism, that endorse what happened to over 350 innocent civilians at the Nova Music Festival in the south of Israel on October 7th, where they were gang raped and butchered by terrorists. Absolutely not. We are performing arts festivals. We are music festivals. We are places of peace.
Oh, only pro-Israel messages on festivals? Right? Talk about the genocide, but as a good thing. Say it's good that Palestinian children are being murdered.
And we do not condone violence.
What do you mean we? Does she even still have a career? Yeah. Are you okay? Music has never been used to send a message, ever. Never political. I'll have you know, Israel invented the concept of a music festival. Another gift that Israel gave the world, alongside carne asada tacos and doner and punk rock. Israel invented Ireland too. How dare ye? And Hamas. I meant Hamas.
Violence, terrorism, sexual assault, and murder. I am asking you, I am demanding you to take a stand now and use your position of power.
Yeah, please take a stand now and fire everyone you can. After all, if we can't assassinate them with drone strikes, then we must assassinate their careers in the Western world for the crime of speaking out against the genocide.
Because this is what's happened in 6 years. You've gone from having a music journalist exiled from the industry to having Coachella, one of the biggest music festivals in the world, mainstream anti-Semitism and also mainstream terrorism. In this very short space of time.
Yeah. E. Fartlow is awesome because she's like, when I got fired, okay, which I don't even know if she got fired. I think people are just like, yeah, we don't want you writing for us anymore because your writing is mid and you suck. She is just like, if you have an opinion on live streamed child holocaust, which is what Israel is doing, if you have a negative opinion on that, you should literally be fired. You should never be able to have a job ever again. That's the main argument here, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. You don't appreciate that we are doing a Holocaust of children in real time, live streaming it, and you look at that and you think, wow, that's seemingly unconscionable. I think that's really fucked up. F the country doing that. Then you should be fired. And it's crazy because, like, she's also talking about, like, people not wanting her to write for, I don't know, Stereo Gum as the first shot across the bow. This is, you know, this spelled real trouble. No, it's not. It's not like you being a annoying person to be around and people not wanting to read your dog shit writing does not spell anti-Semitism. It's ridiculous. There's anti-Semitism, and then there's people being like, yeah, I don't want to hear from you. Like, those are two separate things. How wonderful. How awesome. Yeah, how is this any different than Kevin Sorbo? Exactly. Kevin Sorbo claiming he can't get work because he's a Christian. No, or Michael Rappaport did this too. Michael Rappaport had the audacity to come out and be like, I can't get any jobs in Hollywood because I'm a Jew who's outspoken about Israel. Brother, really? That's what really? I mean, come on, dude. Come on. The joke's right for them. The jokes write themselves. Yeah. Today, that Seth Rogen tweeted farts at me. It was my hate name that trended nationwide on Twitter, not his. I was the butt of the expertly constructed joke by a man with decades experience as a celebrated Hollywood asset. A fat emoji. I'm E. Fatlow. And calling me by my hate name made me the shite of the butt. Don't use a hate name, Hasan. Please. No, Hasan. Please. Fuck shite. She also thinks Muslim Brotherhood controls every institution. Every major institution is just anti-Semitism with a new coat of paint. Yeah. Pretty funny that these guys are basically doing the parasitic nature of the Islamic mind must be wiped out. Dehumanization and propaganda that justified the Holocaust in the minds of many German people being relitigated, but this time instead of Jew, they substituted Jewish people and the false smears against Jewish people for Arabs and Muslims. Protocols of the Elders of Ramallah. It's wild because, like, the more this shit happens, I'm telling you right now, the more this shit happens, the more people feel resentful towards Israel. And it doesn't just stay at resentment towards Israel. This does unironically have a negative effect because Israel constantly being like, we're the Jewish nation state. We're doing this for Judaism. If you hate our live stream baby murder, then you must hate all Jews across the board. The more you do that, the more people go, okay, well, I guess this is Jews doing this. How is the expectation from some random dude who already has like encountered or has like nascent underlying anti-Semitic tendencies, like, yeah, Jews are in Hollywood, I don't know, whatever. How is that guy going to watch TV and TikTok at the same time, see all the fucking baby murder happening, and then on television or on Twitter, the fucking White House is literally blackbagging people because they said mean words about Israel, words that they might even agree with, and then the White House is posting, Shalom, Mahmoud, we're blackbagging you. How is that person not supposed to think Jews control the media and every aspect of the federal government? Like, these people do not think complex thoughts. So the more you associate Israel with Judaism and the more you keep saying that you're doing this to combat anti-Semitism, the more anti-Semitism is going to happen. The more it becomes, in the minds of everyday Americans, the only way to protest Israel is by being anti-Semitic. It's wrong, of course. Just like the conflation of Judaism and Israel is wrong. There will come a day when a lot of people who are in your families, okay, for all the Jewish HasanAbi heads in here, all the anti-Zionist HasanAbi heads in here, you will see your parents will actively be speaking in the ways that I'm speaking right now about Israel and try to desperately stop people from associating Judaism with Israel. It will inevitably happen. And I fear that it will happen when it's far too late at that point. And I hope it doesn't get to that point. That's the point. They're trying to increase global anti-Semitism. I know, but it's so short-sighted and it's so fucking stupid. E. Fartlow's whole mindset that Israel and therefore all Jews are under attack by the powers that be makes no sense. Every Western power aligns with her views. Like, why does she feel like a victim? She has a military-industrial complex on her side. Why would they want to increase anti-Semitism? Why would Israel want to increase anti-Semitism? I don't know. Ask the Mossad why they bombed synagogues in Iraq to create, to heighten the tensions in Iraq for the Iraqi Jews. Because when anti-Semitism increases in the West, Israel sees that as a complementary tool to its Zionist project, to its Zionist ambition of bringing either all Jews to Israel or at least make Jews in the Western world that are outside of Israel, Jews in diaspora, support Israel, because it gives additional credence to the argument. It gives additional credence to the argument that no Jew is ever safe if there is no Jewish state. That is the underpinning of the Zionist project in general. It's kind of like this, okay? Imagine if white Christian colonists constantly ran on the argument that they're always under attack, nonstop, from every angle, and they have to be violent, and they have to do a genocide on the indigenous population. There were arguments like that being presented at the time, but like there has never been a point throughout history where white Western nations have ever been, or especially on the basis of Christianity, they've ever been like truly under attack. So when you say something like that, most people laugh at you. Like when Kevin Sorbo says like, because I'm a white Christian man, I'm being oppressed in Hollywood or whatever, right? Like there is no real historic wrong you can attach to that kind of sentiment. That's why people desperately will try to grab on to like apartheid South Africa and how there's a white genocide happening in South Africa or whatever, right? But there is a real historic wrong that has been committed over and over again against Jews, which is why this argument goes a much longer way. The argument of anti-Semitism goes a much longer way because anti-Semitism is a real bigotry, as opposed to just like anti-white Christian men bigotry. That's not real. That's not a real bigotry at all. That's what's so different about the way to defend Israel by talking about anti-Semitism in general, because anti-Semitism is a real bigotry. And it is associated with real historic wrongs and historic violence that Jews were subjected to. Can you expand on that Iraq claim you made? Yes. Israeli Iraqi Jewish historian Avi Shlaim has detailed out Mossad operations around the Nakba, or in the aftermath of the Nakba, where Israel wanted more immigration from the MENA region into Israel, of Jews into Israel. And a part of that plan also featured creating an environment of instability and creating a environment of danger for Jews in places like Iraq. They did so by bombing synagogues in Iraq to be like, see, the Iraqis are so anti-Semitic, they want to kill you. You have to come to Israel. And it worked. Ironically enough, the Iraqi Jews and all of the Arab Jews that came into Israel initially were brutalized by the Israeli state to begin with. That's the other side of the story.
Do you want to see how it's going to evolve further? Do you want to take that risk? Do you want your kids going to these music festivals and God forbid something like what happened to the kids at Nova happens to them? Where do you think this leads? Use your position of responsibility now. It's over to you.
Yeah. Kneecap.
Stop being selfish, self-invested cowards.
Yeah. If there's someone who is a selfish, self-invested coward, it is the person that said, the anti-Semitic pogrom started when they fired me from my job writing for Stereo Gum or whatever. That's when the pogrom started. Did she just threaten to kill people at a music festival? No, she's saying, I mean, that's funny. No, she's basically saying that every music festival will turn into a Nova festival if you allow people to say Israel at festivals. That's the argument that she's trying to make here, which is so psychotic. Jewish groups in the music space made the owners of Coachella Golden Voice aware the Irish band Kneecap was deeply anti-Semitic and promoted Hezbollah terrorists. What did Golden Voice do? Nothing. The result, the vilification of the world's only Jewish state last night as thousands cheered on. Emails, Paul Tollett, CEO and President, Jay Marciano, and ask, why did Melissa Armand, the COO of festivals at AEG Presents and COO of Golden Voice, allow this to happen? At 2024 concert, Kneecap waved Hezbollah flags on stage. Dude, I'm telling you, it's so funny. I'm sorry, but it is straight up hilarious. You're like, I can't believe Kneecap, a band that does this all the time, did the thing that they are known to do. Wow, I'm shocked. What's next? Are you going to tell me they rapped in Irish? Wow. Oh, also, Fox News was talking about our boys.
Look, if Green Day, if Kneecap, which is a band I've never even heard of, if they want to be for the Palestinian people, then they should.
Why is America's worst swimmer, America's most fifth place swimmer, talking about this? Like, why is she?
Coming
That's
up,
Riley Gaines, right?
Anti-Israel message of hate displayed on a massive screen at the Coachella Music Festival to a round of cheers. It happened during a set from the Irish band Kneecap on Friday night, second to last night of Passover. First, the band projected this message for all to see. Israel is committing genocide, they wrote, against the Palestinian people. And they then changed the backdrop to one attacking the U.S. And lastly, they projected this.
I like that they show this stuff. This is like similar to when Fox News was writing articles about how I said like Hamas is a far less evil force than Israel is. Like when they put that on there, I'm like, yeah, I stand by that. Like, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for posterizing correct takes. You unironically end up platforming correct takes. The expectation there is simply for the audience to react in the way that you assume they will react. But all you're doing is broadcasting the truth. Yeah, when you post this and you go, oh, they're saying like they wrote Israel and Free Palestine on there. Like, that's not going to cause people to go, oh my God, how dare they say that? I mean, the people that are going to say that are already of that mindset.
F Israel, Free Palestine. Meanwhile, Israel reminded the world of the hostages who were not home to celebrate Passover. Many were taken from a music festival, just like Coach.
By the way, this is precisely what I was talking about how conservatives behave, how the free speech guys behave whenever you say something that they disagree with.
18 months ago, our holiday was joyful. Today, the families of 59 hostages will sit at their table without their loved ones, who are still being held captive by Hamas in Gaza.
Dude, it's always emotional blackmail, dude. Oh my God, you said fuck Israel and Free Palestine? Here is unlimited emotional blackmail. Remember when October 7 happened? But this time it was at Nova Festival. Remember Nova Festival? Remember October 7? Please do not look at anything we've done since then. Please do not look at anything we've done before October 7 that might have led to October 7 happening. Do not look at any of that. Just only October 7. And don't even look at October 7 that much, because you might realize that our forces also killed a bunch of the Israeli citizens in the process. So don't look too closely to October 7 either. Just only look at October 7, but within the confines that we have designed for you to look at and consume October 7. That's literally, this is the only thing that you can say. If you resist against Israeli occupation militarily, you are anti-Semitic, you are a terrorist. If you say anything about Israeli occupation that we don't appreciate, you are anti-Semitic, you are a terrorist. God forbid you have a bad thought. If you even look in the direction of Israel's actions in a way that we consider to be less than desirable, you are anti-Semitic, you are a terrorist. The words you use, if you say, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, we have decided you are a terrorist. You are anti-Semitic. And what the fuck? What is the point here? What are we supposed to do? I don't know if you talked about this framing before, but I had a realization. The expectation that music festivals must be apolitical in perpetuity because of 10/7 is absurd because 1, implies music festivals haven't always been political, Hendrix at Woodstock, and 2, would be like telling country musicians they can't talk about guns in their songs after the 2017 Vegas festival shooting. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Yeah, it's like Nova Festival was hit on October 7th. And there were gruesome images from Nova Festival, for sure. It reminded me of festivals in America, as a matter of fact, ironically enough. You know, like the one in Vegas. It was horrifying. The difference, of course, is that doesn't mean that, like, no one can say Israel is doing a genocide in any setting, let alone a festival. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Over a year and a half in captivity, guarded by armed terrorists, hidden in underground tunnels.
Yeah, under horrific conditions, you know, evading our bombs. Might as well say your bombs, because we're paying for it, too.
Under horrific conditions, let our people go.
Let our people go, except not like that. Except according to Haaretz reporting, recent Haaretz reporting, Hamas once again, as they have at this point made clear 10,000 times that they are willing to release all the hostages, Israel has said no again. Israelis know that Israel is the only entity ruining the negotiations process at this point. They're protesting against the Netanyahu government. And these are not guys that are like, oh, I love Palestine. I love Palestinians. I want to hug and kiss them. They're literally like, no, just let the hostages go and then you can continue the genocide. Yeah. Live updates. Netanyahu's spokesperson says hostages cannot be brought back in single phase because Hamas is demanding end to war. Wow. So it had never had anything to do with the hostages. It always was a talking point for Israel. I'm shocked. If only someone, anyone out there had been repeating that in perpetuity since October 8. Sorry, can't bring the hostages back because they want us to stop murdering children, and we can't do that. I told you so. Hamas is offering to return all hostages, step down from ruling Gaza, halt production of rockets and digging tunnels, store all their weapons in locked and guarded warehouses, all in return for ending the genocide and IDF leaving Gaza. This is a non-starter for Netanyahu. A non-starter.
The problem is Hamas isn't going to listen to him because that's 1,000 years of entrenchment. That's all they know how to do. The world is seeing somebody evil enough to just want to fight. They didn't want to win for their own people. They don't plan on feeding the Palestinian citizens. Of course they don't. If they did, they would have taken all that money after all of the previous conflicts where they were given money to rebuild and all. And they would have put in electrical grids. People ran out of water within 7 days.
What are you saying? What is this completely fantastical, nonsensical, ahistorical attitude here? It's just always just completely made up nonsense. Oh, the Palestinians don't want to take care of their own. Palestinians don't want to take care of their own people. It's just like, that's why Israel has to keep bombing them. Israel has to keep doing genocide. Israel has to limit the flow of goods into the Gaza Strip. Hamas is 1,000 years old, according to this idiot. She said they were entrenched in not helping Palestine. Yeah, from the Ottoman Empire all the way down to British Mandate Palestine to Israeli occupation. Look, the thing is, they're desperate, as I've said already, and in their desperation, they're holding on to dumber and dumber nonsense, and this is all they got.
I mean, Hamas, they are scourged. They are the worst. They are savages. They're not going to listen to anybody. Savages. Netanyahu knows. I don't know if the world has the stomach for it, but you got to take them out.
How did we get to this point, Paul? How did we get to this point in this country where that...
Great question. It's because Israel has been live streaming. Israel is engaged in a live stream genocide. Israel is doing a live stream Holocaust.
...is allowed to foment and fester and have cheers at Coachella.
It's amazing. And that's what they're willing to...
Of all places, a music festival. Can you believe it? A musical group is engaging in the act of politics at a music festival of all places. Why won't they simply say how sad they are that Israel is forced to do a genocide? It's so fucked up. How dare they? Because that's the reality. When they say, why are you being political? Music is not supposed to be political. One, of course, music is always political. That's ridiculous. And two, they simply mean, why won't you say nice things about Israel? And instead, why are you saying mean things about Israel? That's it. That's all this is. That's all this is about. As I said here, art is not supposed to be political. Why can't they either shut the fuck up about genocide or only talk about how good Israel is? I can't believe musicians would take an anti-war and anti-genocide stance. Oh my God, especially a music festival attended by young people who overwhelmingly are on the Israel tip.
Can you imagine the backstage conversations at these things? If you brought out the head of Hamas on that stage, they were a standing ovation. That's how far things plummeted. I mean, it's just the truth.
I mean, yeah, that should cause you to reconsider your stances maybe a little bit. I'm just saying, wow, these people really, these kids, they love Hamas. They can't get enough of Hamas. What is going on? What will they get? They did bring the head of Hamas. That's true. They did. They brought the head of Hamas to the festival stage. Me, HasanAbi Piker.
It is that simplistic view of the world of oppressed versus oppressor. The bottom line is Israel looks too much like America. It's no accident that they were hitting both America and Israel, this Irish band.
Yeah, what do you mean? It's because what they're saying is true. America is funding and facilitating Israel's genocide in Gaza. That's the reason why they said those things. They said those things because they're true statements that they uttered. Notice how you haven't mentioned any of the statements or tried to even tackle the veracity of the statements. You haven't offered any counter messages, and you're simply complaining that everybody loves Hamas and everybody hates Israel. One must ask the question why it got to this point. Why do you think they aren't running with anti-Semitism? Everyone is saying anti-Israel and pro-Palestine, which is the correct interpretation. I don't know. I guess because it's Fox News. When you say anti-Israel, they're already conditioned to believe you mean like anti-Jew. Yeah. To paraphrase Will Menaker, it isn't enough that they get to do a genocide. Everyone else has to be happy about it.
Success to the only successful regime over there, and so of course they have to be the oppressors. And what's it's told us?
No, they are the oppressors because they're doing a genocide, not because like everyone is jealous of how successful they are. These guys love chirping about the welfare state, and then you got the biggest welfare queens out there, Israel, and they're like, look at how glorious and successful they've been. Everyone is jealous of them.
Is about a conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. No, it was between Israel and Hamas, and they never put Hamas.
Yeah. No, it's between Israel and Hamas. Remember early on in October of 2023, I told you that if they constantly present this dynamic as Israel versus Hamas, and in the focus group testing that they engage in, where the only selectable outcome is Israel versus Palestinian people or Israel versus Hamas. If you're only putting on the polls Hamas versus Israel, people are going to inevitably go, okay, yeah, I like Hamas. That's what they're going to say. That's where we're at for some people. And these guys are like, how could this have happened? It's like, I don't know, maybe because everyone, even the dumbest person, sees live streamed Holocaust and goes, that's really fucked up.
That's what's missing. And anybody who gets their politics from a 3-minute song deserves what they get.
Yeah, and it's also a rich irony.
Who deserves what they get? As in what? Like, we're going to deport them. We'll kill you. I'm advocating to jail you.
Coming from, if they are Northern Irish, then that's the British. I mean, get out of here with that. And
I love, of course, the pro-Israel stooge would also be pro-British Empire too. It's like, I'm on the wrong side of every issue. I'm going to always take the side of the oppressive colonists. That's how it works.
Well, of course, Coachella is for younger people, and what has been proven throughout the past few years is that the younger generation is definitely leaning towards anti-Semitism.
Oh, there it is. Finally, someone had to bring up the real elephant in the room. Someone had to bring up the real elephant in the room, which is, of course, anti-Semitism. What's up with these fucking conservatives that have like tiny ass faces on ginormous heads? What's going on? This is a Charlie Kirk phenomena. Conservatism does something to your cranium. Why is she on this panel? Because conservatives love losers, dude. That's what it is. You want to know why she's on this panel? Because conservatives love fucking losers who chirp. She is a straightforward loser. She's a whole ass loser. And because she couldn't take an L graciously, she has become a conservative. Democrats love losers too. They just love gracious losers, you know? Losers who lose but are still maintaining some kind of moral superiority in the process. Conservatives love whiny losers.
That disease is DEI, and we see that infiltrate on college campuses all across the nation.
You can't do this. What the argument that like you're somehow fighting against woke and DEI, but also God forbid you hurt the feelings of a foreign nation that's currently doing a genocide, the live stream Holocaust. Like what do you mean? Take a stance. You can't on the one hand constantly whine about shit that's not anti-Semitic and claim it's anti-Semitic. And we all know what that claim comes with, okay? Because that claim is not just saying something is anti-Semitic. You're demanding some kind of regulation. You're demanding some kind of managerial person to come in and say, yeah, these guys are going to get punished. That's why you're saying that this is anti-Semitic. But you can't do that. And then also sometimes be like, we need to cancel culture. We need to stop all this woke nonsense.
Unreal.
It's unreal. No, this didn't happen in Nazi Germany in the 1930s. This was in 2025 in America. Beyond staggering.
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you was, how do we combat this with young people? I feel like we can see how it got here, which is the absolute, but how do we combat it now? How do we turn these young people around?
I got an idea. End the occupation, dismantle the Zionist project, create an independent truth and reconciliation committee, punish all of the war criminals, and allow for a singular, secular, solitary state to exist in the area with a right to return for all Palestinians that have been forcibly removed from their ancestral lands, and also reparations paid to the Palestinians that have been pushed away from their lands. That's how you can start the process of people thinking that Israel is fine. Because the amount of war crimes, the amount of blood, death, murder that Israel has committed, the amount of unjustifiable actions that Israel has committed is not going to go away anytime soon. And it's certainly not going to go away when you're consistently defending it and refusing to stop.
Activists from these authority positions. I think that's the best word for it. We've seen these rogue activist judges. Of course, that's been—
I do love that they keep showing this, though. I do. I love that they keep showing the message uninterrupted.
pretty heavily